Okay. My name is Alvaro. I'm responsible for international sales for the company Grecom Technologies. And then, okay, so today I would like to introduce you all the different solutions that we have for the retail business, okay, for the retail industry, okay. So first thing that I would like to do is to do a very brief introduction of our company. We are a company that was founded in 2005. Okay, we are. As a matter of fact, as you can see on the slide, it is two companies: is Engaro and Grecom. And Engaro is the company that is specialized in developing the analytics, and Grecom is the company that does all the marketing and so on. Okay. So we are very specialized in developing real-time analytics for thermal imaging solutions. For thermal imaging cameras, sorry. And then right now we have 30 different analytics developed. We export to 64 countries. And then I think the key advantage that we offer versus some other companies in the market is that we can offer the full chain of value. That means that we have our own R&D department, which is the one in charge of developing not just the analytics that we sell, but also to customize the solutions according to the customer needs. Also, we have an integration department, which is responsible for integrating all our solutions with existing cameras and then says our security systems that are available on the market. And then we have the pre-sales, which is a department that supervises all the projects that we get involved, just to make sure that the cameras are deployed on the right place at the right height, and then also that all the communications and so on are correct. And the after sales department is the one that is responsible to solving any potential problems that might show up with the analytics. Okay. So these are all the different lines of analytics that we can offer. We have perimeter surveillance, automation, safety, marine surveillance, traffic, fire prevention and detection. We have solutions for industrial scenarios and for wild forest, healthcare, cybersecurity, forensic, and face recognition. Okay, so this will be the 9 lines of analytics that right now we offer. Okay. So for the retail, I mean, the first solution that we offer is the face recognition solution. Okay, we offer a solution that we can guarantee a 99.87 accuracy. Follows all the different privacy regulations like AES 256 in REST, and then also the HTTPS in transit. And then the solution has been certified by the NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology in the US. And then the results were very impressive. I mean, this was a research or a testing that involved over 340, close to 350 face recognition algorithms. And then we came out to be the algorithm, as you can see here on the upper right corner, the algorithm that less processing requirements need to run the analytics. Okay, so that is a competitive advantage because we can reduce the cost of the reduced of the servers, the cost of servers, and then also was the fastest solution to detect. So, and then also from the accuracy point of view, the minimum requirement that the NIST requires is a margin of error of 0.0285. Okay. We will be able to do 0.0027. Okay, so that make us a very competitive solution versus some other solutions in the market. Okay, so for the retail business, what can we offer? I mean, most of the most demand. I mean, most of the people, what they do is they demand us the analytics area. Okay, so here we can do a demographic analysis. That means that we can analyze by gender, by age, and then also by expression. So, and the good part of this area of the analytics is that we don't save or we don't use the image of the people. So we don't need to follow any privacy policy, because basically what we do is we analyze And then based on what we detect, we generate a code, and that code is being sent to kind of like a dashboard, and that is where all the statistic data is being saved. Okay, so there is no image, there is no transfer of images. So from this purpose, we don't need to use the we don't breach any privacy policy. Also, okay, we can have heat maps, so we can see how people are moving inside the premise, inside the facility. Also, we can manage the queuing time on lines. So in case that there is any counter, we see that there is too many people, what we can do is we can open up new lines to speed up the counter process. Also, we can figure out the dwell time, which is the average time that one person spends inside the facility. So we do kind of like a check-in time and a checkout time. So we know how much time they spend inside. And then also we can have the occupation panel. So that means that what we can do is we can know pretty much how many people is inside the facility, and then in case that we have an occupancy limit, what we can do is we can block the entrance to more people. And then also from the employees or from the face recognition, what we can do is, of course, we can do access control of employees. And then also we can have like loyalty programs in a way with that we can identify those clients that are more loyal to the business, and then identify it immediately once they enter into the shop or into the facility, and then offer them a specific special treatment or special discounts and so on. And then also we can have kind of like the blacklist. Okay, this is a solution that for those people that generated or created problems in the past, what we can do is we can identify it immediately once they enter into the facility. So we can track it down and follow up them just to make sure that they don't steal or they don't generate any more problems as they have done in the past. Okay. Here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a video of how we have the anti-spoofing. So this is for the access control. So we can, the good thing about this solution is that we can distinguish between a real face and a non-real face. Okay. So for the access control, we can detect if someone tries to supplant the identity of any of the employees. So here, as you can see, there's whenever we recognize one face, we put a green heart on top of it, so that means that is a real face. And then when someone tries to supplant identity with a picture, we put the red heart on top of it, so that means that there is not a real image. So we will not grant access whenever we detect that is a non-real face. Okay. Also can work with static images on smartphones and tablets, and also with videos. And then also we have the double identification procedure. That means that whenever you use a badge, if the identity of the badge
Grecom Technologies, your partner in video analytics.
Your, face recognition identity will block the access. Okay, so this is the kind of like the double authentication. Okay, another one of the solutions that we offer is the VMS. Okay, so as you know, most of the VMSs that are available on the market they lack of intelligence or artificial intelligence, let's call it. So basically, what they do is they just record 24/7, and they record all the images, and also what they do is they record all the events of all the analytics that are connected to that VMS. Okay, and they generate kind of like an event database. So a VMS with artificial intelligence means that at the same time that you're recording, what you do is to classify the object as you're recording. So that means, for example, if you are recording parking, so you will be able to record the type of vehicle, if it's a car, if it's a motorcycle, if it's a bus, if it's a truck, or if it's a trolley or whatever. the color of the vehicle, also the license plate number. Okay, and then whenever you record a human, you will be able to classify by gender, if it's a male or if it's a female, and then the type of clothing, the color of the clothing, and also the face of the person. So what is the key advantage of this solution? So the key advantage of this solution is that whenever you want to go over the recording, so you want to do some forensic search, instead of going through hours and hours of recording, basically you have kind of like a searching tool where you enter whatever you're looking for, and then automatically the system will come up with all the results that you entered into the search tool. Okay, so that will save a lot of money, and then it's much more accurate than you have to go through tons of hours. And then also you will be able to search by appearance. So imagine that, for example, there is one person that you're searching for. Imagine that you lost a kid in a shopping mall, and then you're trying to look for that kid. So you will be able to enter an image of that kid, and then automatically the VMS will searching through all the cameras that are connected, and then will immediately identify that that person or that person that matches with the face that you upload into the search tool. Also, this solution can be used for operational awareness. So what you can do is you can count the people that come in. You can also track the people as they're moving inside the premise. And then also what you do is, in case that there is in a specific area where there is not that many people, what you can do is you can shut down the lights, shut down the air conditioning or the heating. So in a way that you can be more effective with the resources of the facility. Okay. Also, the VMS has a tool, is kind of what we call is like a smart recording. So that means if there is no activity on the field of view of the camera, what we do is we reduce the resolution of the recording, so we can optimize the space of the recording space on the servers. Okay, and then whenever there is activity, whenever there is vehicles or people moving, automatically the recording will come back to the high resolution. So you will be recording at the standard resolution that you have set up the system for. Also, you have the sound analytics on it. So in case that there is any like fire alarm, smoke alarm, or any people yelling or fighting and so on, immediately the analytics will be able to identify and undetect it. The very positive thing about this VMS is not just recording, also has the analytics included into the price. And we have multiple analytics running simultaneously. We can have the perimeter analytics, recognition, we can have license plate number, and then also we can have sound analytics. So all that is kind of like a bundle inside the analytics, inside the VMS, and it's included on the price. And this will be pretty much the architecture. So we have two options. You can either go with our own cameras or with third-party cameras. In case that you go with our own cameras, the key advantage is that the analytics and the recording is embedded into the camera, okay? And those cameras are connected directly to the cloud, so you will not need any servers in between. And the good thing about it is also that the recording is being done in the camera, but you will save kind of like a backup recording into the cloud. So you will have, you will be recording simultaneously on the camera or on the cloud. So in case that there is any kind of sabotage on the camera, you will also have like a backup recording into the cloud, okay? And in order to access on real time to the camera or to the recordings, any device that is connected to the network and has access to the cloud, you will be able to access to the camera or to the recording. And then in case that we're using a third-party camera, we will need what we call it the cloud connector, which is a server where the analytics and also the recording is being done. And then we will use kind of like a gateway cloud. And also in case that you don't want to use the cloud, we can go straight and go directly to the server. So we will not need any specific any specific, we will not need to go through the cloud. Here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a video of the search tool.
Welcome to AvaWare. Today we're going to cover search. Search is a tool that allows us to search for specific events that may have occurred across one or multiple cameras. This allows us to search for things like the appearance of a person or a vehicle, a line cross event where a vehicle or person has crossed a specific virtual line that we've drawn, loitering events where a person or a vehicle may have been stationary for too long in one place, indicating something like an idling vehicle that may be outside of a loading dock or outside of an airport, or a person that may just be acting suspiciously in an area that they should not be. We can also alert on sound detection, and this leverages the onboard sound detection in our AvaWare cameras that can detect things like glass breaks, loud noises, smoke alarms, and many more audio models that are being added with each release. So, for example, if we were to create a line cross search, what we can do is we can choose what kind of objects we want to search for. We can stick with any or go down to a specific person. This person can be specified based on gender or based on the attire that they're wearing in the top or the lower quadrant of their body, and you can combine both colors as well, looking for people in uniforms or based on a description that was given by a third party. We can also leverage an image. If someone has captured a cell phone image of this person or vehicle, we can upload that in order to do a search based on these detections. Then we can choose where we want to do this detection. So this detection can take place, for example, on a camera in a parking lot. It could also happen inside of a building. So if we were looking for people that may have been in front of a register, we can choose one or multiple cameras and then choose the line that we want these objects to be crossing in order to qualify for the detection. We can choose the direction of travel of this object. And in the case of something like a convenience store, if we're just looking for anyone that is walking out, as this person just did in this example, we can unclick the entering direction so that we're only looking for the direction of travel out the door. And then we can choose the time period that we're searching for. This can be anywhere from specific minutes down to a block of time that may be days or hours. And in our case, when we're just looking for the last 30 minutes worth of search, we're presented with all of the events that correspond to our search criteria. So in our case, we're looking for people that are exiting. And if I highlight over that video, we're going to see the people that are exiting. I can click into this video to see it in greater detail. This will allow me to see not only the event that occurred, but the object within our floor plan as that user exits this building. I can then click to act on that activity. But we can also see in our parking lot as a person was crossing that virtual line that we created. So this allows us to very quickly get to the events that matter to us and then act on them. These different video clips that we have captured here can then be exported. So we can take the relevant information by clicking the plus, and we can choose to share or save. So we can export this as an MP4. We can share this as a publicly accessible link. We can bookmark it so that these video clips do not get deleted by typical retention. And of course, we can also do similarity searches if we want to look for people that are similar to the objects that have been detected in these environments. Now, you're also presented with the ability to create a rule. We have a whole nother section dedicated to creating rules based off of searches as well as other parameters. I implore you to check that out.
Okay, the last solution that we want to talk about is data loss prevention. As you know, most of the retail business they manage a lot of information, personal information like contact details, addresses, and then also credit card numbers and so on. So it is very important to have kind of like to have a very good IT policy just to make sure that all that information is not being it doesn't get stolen or it doesn't get shared with competing companies. So this is a solution that was the US Cyber Command winner out of the 10 tasks that were in the contest. This solution was winning in 7 of them, and including the most complete solution out of all of them. Also is a JITC certified, and also is the NITF compliant. And it was a solution that was the Cybersecurity Awards winner on 2021. Okay, so this is a solution that is well tested. We have a very good case studies and success cases on it, and then I think it's very important for also for the retail business. So basically here, how this solution works. So what we do is we monitor all the activity on all the workstations that are connected to the network. That means in case that, for example, there is someone has like a screenshot, anyone does like a print some confidential information, does downloads or a backup copy on a pen drive, access to I don't know, to a unsafe Wi-Fi network, or for example, if they access to a specific application that the IT does not authorize to enter, or they are navigating or browsing throughout any browsing website and so on. So what we can do is, besides detecting that and alerting when someone does any of those activities, we can also interact. So we can block the workstation. We can send an alert. We can isolate the workstation and so on. So this is not kind of like a reaction solution, but also can be proactive. And the way it works is that what we do is we download one license in each one of the workstations that we want to monitor. And those workstations report in real time to one central workstation where all the data is being collected. And from that workstation has kind of like a dashboard where you can manage and you can observe all the activity on all the workstations that are connected. Okay, so this is a very unique solution, and it's very easy to implement, and then it's very effective on detecting IT breaches of the company. So this will be pretty much all the different solutions that we can offer for the retail business. Here are some success cases that we would like to share with you. So from the defense and law enforcement, we have sold the VMS and also the cybersecurity solution into the FBI. On the NATO headquarters, we have implemented the access control solution. And then on the oil and gas, we have worked with companies such as Saudi Aramco, Cepsa, and Repsol, which are 2 oil companies in Spain. On critical infrastructures, we have done all the perimeter surveillance for the Madrid International Airport, Trillo nuclear plant in Spain, and also telecommunications companies such as AT&T, Etisalat on the Emirates, Facebook in the US, Hitachi in the US also. So, and then on the retail business, we have implemented these solutions in the banking sector. Santander, which is the 5th largest bank in the world, CaixaBank, Samba, which is a Saudi bank, and then also several supermarkets like Tia or XXL or ICA and Office Depot. So these solutions have been well tested on different retail businesses. Okay, it is very important to note that the price of the licenses includes the setup, fine-tuning, and configuration. So it's a turnkey solution. Until the solution is not working as the customer or the end user is expecting, we will not stop doing it. We will do all the setup remotely, and that is included on the price. Also, the licenses can be either perpetual licenses or can be under the subscription model. And then also demo licenses are available, are free of charge. So we can, in case that you want to test any of the solutions on a specific place, or we can give you demo licenses for you to test it. So since we are just two people, Bill or Raghava, I mean, you are more than welcome to ask me any questions. You can activate the microphone or you can do it through the chat, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome presentation, and I am really impressed by the solutions you are providing. Yeah, it's like an awesome work what you guys are doing. Yeah.
What would you be more interested in? More on demographic analysis for a retail business, or like the VMS as recording for security purposes? What do you think it will be more interesting for your? I don't know if you are an end user, you are a system integrator. What kind of business do you do?
Yeah, like ours is an AI research lab.
Okay.
So our target is mostly the startups and mid-level companies.
Okay.
So we provide R&D services for them in the area of computer vision mostly, and we are diversifying as of now. So I was just looking how can is there any scope for the is there any scope for us to work together, or will there be an opportunity going further? I was just looking at those aspects.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe the sensor fusion part, I'm not sure how well are you doing in that. Like if there are multiple cameras in the store, how are you gonna fuse those sensors or make sense of the data collectively?
What we do basically in each one of the cameras, you just like configure some detection rules. Okay. And then if the purpose is to, for example, for security purposes, would you just like configure for security purposes? But in case that you want to do any kind of tracking, what the system does is, I mean, kind of like recognizes the face of that person, and then as you move from one camera to the other, automatically you associate the image of that person from one camera to the other, and then you do the tracking. Okay, so so it's kind of like whenever you detect a face, it's kind of like recorded into the let's call it database of the VMS, and then as the person is moving from one camera to the other, you just like match it the identity of or that face with the face that is on the database, and in case that is recorded, what you do is you track it down.
Okay, but there is no fusion part as such. Like if the environment is so cluttered and it's a stochastic environment, it's hard to track. If it's one person, then this does work. But if there are like multiple people in the scene, it's hard to uh, get this working. So
Okay.
that's one part which stuck me.
I mean, what we do is, I mean, of course, I mean, if there is too many people gathering and the field of view of the camera is not the correct one, definitely, I mean, if the camera cannot see correctly, I mean, from the analysis point of view, there is pretty much nothing you can do about it. Now, if the image is clear and then it can be clearly identified with the image that has been saved on the VMS, then what you can do is you can do tracking. So, for instance, if imagine that in one of the cameras, the field of view of the person is not clear, definitely on that area, you will not be able to track it. Okay. So that is the tricky part, is the deployment of the cameras in a way that we can have the best view of the people. I mean, in case that you want to do tracking and then also like face recognition analysis.
Yeah, that's where I think we have an expertise in that. Tracking in such situations. So maybe looking forward for it. Not right now, but in some other private call or something.
Let's do something, Raghava. You have here my email address. Okay.
Yes.
So send me an email to just to get in touch with me, and then what I will do is I will send you an invite, And then what we can do is we can discuss more in depth what you guys do, and then see if we can find any potential synergies between both companies.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so it's pretty awesome whatever you are doing. I really loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it from my side.
Okay, very good. And Bill, I think I know him pretty much. I talk to him every week.
Yeah, I'm just attending for further education on Grecom.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I mean, if there is no more info, no more questions, what I will do is I will share with you guys, I mean, the video and also the presentation. So for you, in case that you want to go over any of the solutions, and here you have my contact details. I mean, especially for Rogava Build, you already have all my details, but Rogava, I mean, you can contact me at any time if you like. Okay. So
Yes,
if there's no
definitely.
more questions, thank you very much for attending to today's webinar. And then let's keep in touch, okay?
Sure, it was great meeting you.
Okay, thank you, Ragava. Let's take care.